We're rolling. Episode 24.
Episode
25.
24.
25.
25?
25.
25.
Because
we're rolling.
25 is funnier than 24.
We,
Dad joke.
there goes the
There
script.
goes some questions in the script here, right? It's a good start.
It's a little windy.
You could
It's one of the challenges of doing an episode outside is you have to deal with the elements.
That is true.
But here we are, episode 25, just Alex and I today. But I do want to make sure we shout out our producer,
Yes.
Yankee777, also known as Alex Nairi.
Yes.
It's his birthday today, 23 years old.
The birthday boy.
Should we call him right now off the bat?
I think it would
See
be
what
really
happens?
cool.
I think it'd be pretty funny.
Let's keep this episode interesting and just do crazy different things the whole time, I think.
All right, let's...
I think we throw in some oddball questions. I have some marry, kill type of questions too, if you guys know what I'm talking about, but it's with music. Also, I think we're going to do a dad joke segment, so that would be cool to go along with the catch-up process too.
Oh, I look weird out here on this camera.
But we are going to catch up with you folks out here. Josh is calling Alex right now, the birthday
We'll see if
boy.
he answers. He might be busy. I don't know.
He might be doing birthday activities.
My camera looks crazy outside. I don't know why does it look like so.
Oh, it's so high def.
So like
it's
HD.
so sharp. It's so sharp.
All right, we might have to return to this later.
The birthday guy is
I think
doing
he's
birthday
busy.
festivities. He was drinking what was he drinking? It was a Guinness. He said
Guinness.
Guinness is far better than Blue Moon. I don't know. Yeah.
I like a Blue Moon. It's a quality beer.
I do like Blue Moons.
Yeah.
They're very
Guinness is a lot.
refreshing. Yeah. Guinness is it's light but heavy at the same time, I feel like.
Yeah.
But,
It's a good way to put it. So so what's new?
nothing much, dude. Been grinding.
You have
Accepted
been.
a job. And
Accepted a few jobs.
yeah. So that whole the past month has been kind of nuts. I mean, to get out of school and had two options. So it was either insurance or continue recruiting. In insurance, I was going to go and do insurance. So passed my tests and everything, and then met a family friend at a party. Is that Alex calling back in?
No.
But
just keeps buzzing.
met a family friend at a party and got to talking, and he was in the steel industry. I'm gonna pick this back up. Was in the steel industry, worked for this steel company. So it was very interesting. They supplied all the steel for a lot of Teslas. So that was pretty interesting. Kind of caught my ear, and I mean, truthfully, I was looking for something that sparked my interest, I guess, to go and do out of school. I mean, detailing has been really good to me. Just on the ride up here, I was just thinking about it. I mean, even after I got out of the car and I told you, I'm dude, I'm beat after 2 cars.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where it has been really good to me. I mean, could I have went and got help and got a shop and all of that the fun stuff, I could see it going down the line, but for right now, it's just my ambition for it and push to do it isn't where it needs to be, I guess, to go and do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still have it as the thing that I can go and do.
Yeah.
At my disposal. But it was a decision for me to just dude, this beats up on my body a lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, given that I could go out and get people, that would take a whole process of itself, me working a whole bunch of years again doing it. And I mean, it wouldn't be terrible necessarily, but just it kind of started to beat up on me mentally, and I think physically. I mean, it's still fun. That's why I've been doing it for the past month or so, but it's definitely got to the point where I'm just what I want to do long term here. And then I go back to the thought of a lot of the clients that I worked with, I see their lives and what they lead, and they have me come over and detail their cars. I'm I want to be that guy eventually.
Yeah,
You know, and those guys aren't detailing cars.
Mhm.
And I want to be able to have cars at my disposal eventually one day down the line maybe and work on cars for fun. And I think that as like a hobby and as something I could kind of like fall back on for enjoyment rather than full-timeness is something that I'm probably going to go for and do, I guess, future
Well, it's
reference.
good that you've been able to like identify that and like weigh all your options and everything. And I think the unique thing too you have going is even, you know, stepping away and focusing on something else, you can always kind of go back to it relatively easily. I mean,
right.
You'll still have the equipment, you'll still have like everything, at least to my knowledge.
Yeah.
For a while, and you can always kind of do it on the side whenever you feel like doing it versus having to do it every day.
Exactly.
So it kind of returns it back to like a hobby versus like a hobby turned career type deal. So it's good that you had the ability to like sit down and think about it and like I need to try something else for a little bit or even for a while and you know, figure out a long-term thing instead of, you know, doing what you were doing. So
yeah, and like you said, is a great point too. Is it was a hobby turned to a moneymaker, get through school type of thing, and like have money in my pocket, and then it kind of took a course of its own. Like we've talked about a lot of times where it's just got so busy where it's just constantly running from place to place to place, and if you're doing that full time, then you need to do that to make money.
Yeah,
and I mean, there's something to that, which is really nice, but you know, I want just different, I think, different goals and different like alignments of my what I think future wise that that would be kind of hard to manage and do both. And
it's easy for people too to say like, oh, why don't you scale and like build a business out of it and everything. It's a lot harder. It's easier said than done doing that. There's a lot more that goes into that than just like saying it, as you know.
Right.
So that's also important to consider.
Yeah, right. And I like, sure, like I have the thought of sometimes is it like a cop out because I didn't take it serious, but to be truthful, like the whole time while I was doing it, really didn't take it all that serious. It was just kind of people heard about it. I went and did jobs and did the work. It wasn't like I'm really trying to push this. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't get me wrong, like super appreciative for everything that happened in the way that it did, because I think that's really what kind of shaped me to like this point to, you know, like you said, self-realize early in the process whether or not you really like something like that much, you know, because that it helped me like self-realize, like, step away from basketball, dude. Like, what are you doing here? Yeah. You know, clearly this isn't helping you get to what you want. This isn't making you happy. And not to say that detailing isn't making me happy, because I mean, it's still helping me out right now, build for the future. But it came to a point, you know, where you just got to decide what do you want to see yourself in the future. Yeah. And you see a lot of guys that do it, or a lot of guys that try to do it. And it's a lot different in the life that I think, you know, I want to lead. And that isn't to go without saying that you can make it your own way and do things differently. But I don't know. I'll always have it type of approach to. So
I have a good quote, I think, actually, that kind of relates to this. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
I love a good quote.
Well, it's kind of a quote. I'm not sure where it's from. Well, I know who posted it, but I don't know if it's from him or not, so I'm just going to read it. But it says, what if we discovered that our calling, purpose, destiny, our why, or whatever you want to call it, wasn't linked to our career but linked to our character? We'd probably see a generation chasing after God's presence instead of a platform and identifying with our work. The days feel a lot better when they're having nothing to do with making a profit or becoming more known, successful, but instead of focusing on the amount of lives you've changed and the bad decisions you've avoided, the wisdom you've gained, and the closer you become with God. So it's kind of talking about like a broader topic of
religion.
Your career is not your identity. It does tie into religion too, but like your why is not necessarily like a career. It's like what your purpose was, which can be a lot different than your career. Or sometimes it is like very tied into your career, or maybe it's multiple things at the same time. So it's important to think about whenever you're making those decisions, especially coming out of school, and you're in your 20s when there's a lot of like, I guess, comparison going on. I feel like in your 20s, because you're like looking at your friends doing this and your friends not doing that, and what your parents think you should do, or your friends think you should do, or your significant other thinks you should do, just random people think you should do. So there's a lot of comparison, and comparison's the thief of joy. So
that's a good point.
Can't be comparing yourself.
Right. Yeah, and it is very hard to do once you get out of school, because everybody's like, oh, he's doing this, oh, he's doing that, and then why am I not doing that, or why am I not having that type of trajectory forward?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good point. So, I mean, I'll be starting August 9th, going out to Chicago for 2 days for training.
That'll be fun.
Be a territory manager for Sabella Pharmaceuticals, which kind of also presented itself through a family friend type of situation. And, I mean, I wanted to get into medical sales of some sort out of college. Thought it was something that was interesting enough to me, and like something that I can actually go, and if I wanted to go and sell, like, might as well sell something that is really helping people, I guess, on the other end. And I know pharmaceuticals, with the bigger side, it can get a bad rap sometimes, but the company that I'm working for is a small company. It's called Sabella Pharmaceuticals, and they do bowel preps. So instead of like the nasty form that you drink, they have like a little tablet form. So you take 24 tablets before your colonoscopy. And I mean, it's really, it was a great opportunity for me. And I think the ability to get in and sell at that level, like as a first job, is something that really enticed me. Yeah. Because if you want to go in and like sell, why not just start with that if you can. So it's a great opportunity. Like the people that really interviewed me too, which made me feel good about it too. So I mean, dude, I'm looking forward to it, and like I'll have the ability to drive around and hustle doing that. I think that was the big thing too, is like you can hustle by doing that and selling and being a territory manager, so you have a territory that you're under control. So that part was cool to me, because like that's what I've been doing for like the past 3 years, driving around detailing. But so. Well,
I mean, sales it's uncapped too, so like
we getting a call?
No. Do you still hear yourself?
I still hear myself. Yes. Dude, that one.
I'm back.
Did you get it? It might be loose at the top screw, because I remember that happened.
I see it.
That happened in the Peter's Pasta episode too.
I think it's good right now, but if it messes up again, we'll
tinker with it.
But
that was a lot about me, dude. Let's talk about you.
Yeah, I mean, kind of similar to you, just been grinding. It's kind of crazy. It's already, when is it? Almost late July now.
We're in August.
Feels like it was just April, May, like we were doing the first Outside episodes. But yeah,
really
I've been grinding, and when you're grinding and working a lot, like time starts to speed up. But it's been all good things, a lot of exciting projects. Really feel like I'm starting to get a lot of momentum with Orchard 8, my own business. Getting ready for the NFL season coming up here. Working with MLB right now, covering the Pirates, and then a lot of the different teams that come into Pittsburgh. Had to make a difficult choice recently about the NHL.
Really?
So I decided not to cover the NHL this season, just because of a bunch of different reasons. But I just felt it wasn't a fit for me right now, with like everything going on with my own stuff and the other two leagues. It was a lot to do all three, and I was kind of hoping for like a little break at some point, because I've been going like, I've at least had some sport in season now for like over a year and a half probably, and like I need a break at some point, and I won't get a break till like probably at least January or February of 2024 as far as like live content stuff, and then MLB could start up again. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna hold off on NHL this season. I mean, I can always get back to it at some point if I wanted to, but
that's an incredible choice to be able to make.
That was a recent choice. Dude. I made that like this week, so that's cool. I wasn't sure what to do, but they needed to know because they have to post a job and everything. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna pass this year and let it play out and see what happens.
Right.
But yeah, getting ready for the football season coming up. Pumped for that. Doing a little bit of high school football again this year too with Mars. Nice. Working with some different small businesses around Pittsburgh right now too, which is a lot of fun. and still kind of at that pivotal point I've been at for a while with like, should I scale or should I not scale, as far as like bringing somebody on to help or just keep it as like a freelance type deal, which is what I'm doing at the moment. So who knows? We're just letting it play out, going with the flow. Yeah,
That's
about
sick.
it for right now.
Talk about what happened. I don't know how much you could talk about it, but we haven't really mentioned it a whole lot. But the Mr. Beast episode that you were at the backbone of.
Yeah, so back in June, had a busy June, first month of summer. Ryan Peters Pasta, who is based here in Pittsburgh, he's been doing a series called the Doubling Egg Series, where he started with one egg and it doubled each video. Basically, he'd crack the egg, make pasta out of the egg with flour, and then it would double each episode. So he posted that. It kind of was like an ASMR video with a voiceover, and got a lot of attention on it the first couple episodes, and it built up with each episode. So he was doing day 14, 10,000 eggs. That is what we did in North Carolina with Mr. Beast. It was a collab. So Ryan was down there. I was at a wedding in Arkansas for my cousin. Flew from that to join them. They were already kind of like halfway through when I joined them, but it's just the way it played out. But I still got to see a lot of it. But yeah, so they did 10,000 eggs worth of pasta. We had a bunch of different people involved, with Happy Egg sponsoring the eggs, a couple different companies sponsoring the flour and the sauces, and then Ryan making the pasta. So it was, I'm trying to think how long. I was there for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They were there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So they were there like another 2 days ahead of me. And but I still felt like I saw a lot go down. Basically, I joined them after they cracked the eggs and poured them. They were on the process of like processing all of the pasta, getting ready to pass it out to the community. The Mr. Beast team had a food truck made, or a wrap for a food truck made, and they brought it out to their facility. And we parked that food truck out front of a food bank and served about 300 people.
Eggs with Happy Egg.
Happy Egg eggs, yeah.
Sorry, before I forgot. I
out.
forgot they were underneath.
Yeah. So these coupons, Happy Egg, the company, donated 2,500 of these coupons to the cause, and they brought them with them to pass out to people around the town we were in. So we passed out a bunch, and then we each took some home as well to pass out. So I've been giving them out to friends and family.
I'll be using these.
Really good eggs, though. If you haven't tried them before, they're free range. They roam on, I believe it's 8 football fields worth of land, so it's pretty big as far as like chickens, because a lot of times other companies have them very tight, constrained
it's
areas.
messed up. Yeah.
So these are happy chickens, happy hens, and they taste really good. The actual yolks of these eggs are different than like what you would get at like Giant Eagle. Those are kind of more yellow. These are like really orange. It's kind of weird. So
You can
weird
tell.
in a good way.
Yeah.
And there's a little difference in flavor, I think.
Is it better?
A little bit better.
A little bit fresher.
Plus, I think it's probably also just in your head that you're like, oh, these are free range, like fresh eggs. Like
That's a good point.
they're probably better. So I think that probably.
My aunt had a chicken coop though, dude, and let me tell you, top tier eggs.
Top
I'd imagine
tier.
this is
Different.
This is what it sounds like.
Very
too.
similar. So
Yeah.
So shout out Happy Egg
Get
for
yourself some Happy Eggs.
lending all these eggs and everything, and also supplying all the eggs, 10,000 eggs for the series, and a bunch of other stuff that Ryan does. And if you don't follow Ryan, make sure you go follow him. Shout out Ryan Peters Pasta. Maybe day 15 coming up. It's up to him. He doesn't know yet. So be crazy, 20,000 eggs. But yeah, so Mr. Beast and that whole team was crazy to work with and experience and see how big of an operation he has down there. Huge. They have multiple studios, huge studios for their long form videos, and just they're always innovating and pumping out stuff. So it was really cool to see the behind the scenes of all that, and meet him personally, even if it was for short periods of time because he was a busy man. So the video success, we got back from that and been grinding on everything else since then. So
The most famous, he arguably is probably one of the most famous guys in the world right now.
I think
for the younger generation.
If you were talking
YouTube
like
and
our generation and younger, I think he's probably one of the most, like I feel like everyone probably has heard of him in our generation and younger.
Yeah.
As far as like kids, like they really resonate, like, because you got to think, like, when you're in like 5th, 6th, 7th grade watching YouTube, those are the type of videos that you're gonna watch, or like very extravagant, like crazy videos that he does with like jumping cars over school buses and fire and blowing stuff up and like
Right.
all the crazy stuff that he does, giving out cars
Thousands
to
of
people randomly,
dollars.
thousands of dollars,
Millions of dollars probably
Millions.
at this point, easily at this
I
point.
think he said his most recent one that just came out, it was like I forget what the title of it was, but it was pretty interesting. They did all sorts of like jumping cars over school buses and big pits of stuff and like crazy fire, everything. He said it cost him $2 million, I think, to make, or maybe it was $3 million. I don't remember.
That's insane. Could you imagine that?
When I saw the tweet, which was sometime earlier this week, he only had made like $250K or something from the video, which
Wow.
I say only because, like, imagine one video makes you $250,000, but for spending $2 million, like, it's crazy. So he's basically was telling like that he basically loses money on every video at this point.
Wow.
And he makes a lot of his money now from the Feastables brand, which is like the snacks and everything that he's been doing. He made a little bit from Mr. Beast Burger too. So
Okay.
really crazy, big operation, biggest YouTuber in the world. Probably one of the most, I'm willing to bet in like 10, 15 years, he would qualify as like the most recognizable person in the world if he continues at this trajectory.
Wasn't he the youngest on Forbes ever? Forbes
Think
list
so.
ever,
He's
something
20,
like that?
He's just turned 25 or 24 or something.
Yeah.
He's the same age as me, which is crazy to think about.
It's nuts. And I mean, in terms of influencers, in terms of recording and like videography, and that's a goal for a lot of people out there, man. Like that's the pinnacle of recording is the most famous YouTuber.
Yeah, I mean,
the
it's
world.
crazy to think that I'm blessed to be able to go and experience that. And Ryan, obviously, too, he was very excited to do that.
Right.
Actually, when we had him on this podcast, we asked him what would be, like, who are you looking forward to, like, collaborating with the most? And he told us Mr. Beast. And then, lo and behold, a month later, we're filming with Mr. Beast. So
Is it true? I'm blanking on the word. What's the word called? Not
manifesting.
manifesting.
Yeah.
Jeez,
I
I'm
think
blanking.
I think you could argue it. I think
Manifesting
if
is
you
true.
really like put it out there and like believe in it and speak about it, you can see some results. I mean, even another guest we've had, James Leon. Shinobi
Yes.
James
That's a very good call.
told everybody at Westminster he was gonna go be in movies, and like he's grinded since I met that man. He was the first video client I had. He grinded from sunrise to sunset at Westminster. Even when he wasn't playing football, he was doing the bodybuilding competitions. That's a ton of work in itself, just doing the bodybuilding prep and like working out all the time, eating really healthy, cooking for yourself in a college dorm with like no kitchen.
It's insane.
So that was a lot in itself. And then he had his whole social media he was trying to build up as well. You know, I think he's at like 1.7 million or something on TikTok now, and
His following's huge.
His following's really big, and he's starting to really appear in a bunch of different. I just saw him on an advertisement actually the other day. I don't know if I sent it to you.
Yeah, you did. The bank. It was a banking.
Oh yeah,
app,
the
I
banking
believe.
app. I've seen him on Invisalign ads.
Right.
I've seen him on like athletic brand ads on like TikTok, and then he's debuting in this Barbie movie that comes out tomorrow as well as a lifeguard. So
Go check it out. Westminster
prime
people. There you go.
example of manifesting. Joey Joy, manifest. So I think it works. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, it was like a little detailing goal whenever I think it was Boz was like the first Steeler that I ever did, and I put it down because then I did two more after that, and the next one was Anthony Johnson and Melvin Ingram whenever I did the Cullinan, and I wrote down on it, I said I want to detail Juju's and Chase's car like on a piece of yellow paper.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, like the next time I went down there, they both like walked by. And I said, screw it, here you go. Here's a card. And then
There you go.
worked
That
out.
happened.
Yeah. I mean it works out. I think there is something to it. I mean, could it be just like the energy of the universe kind of pulling you in? I think that has a lot to do with it, but I guess that would be kind of manifesting too.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like if you have good energy towards something, generally the energy finds its way back to you.
I just thought of a story as well, from my own. But like sometime when I was doing videos for Westminster, towards the end of when I was like about to graduate, one of the football players on the team, Devin Little, Dev the dog, was like his username.
Yep.
He messaged me and told me something about my video, and we were having like a short conversation about how he liked it and everything. And he's like, oh, like you really have like something special going here, man. Like, and I was like, yeah, I'm not stopping until I get to the NFL. I remember saying that to him, like texting that to him, and then ended up getting to the NFL this past year. And I went back and like looked for the text
to find it,
and I can't remember. I think it was on Snapchat, so I don't think I have it anymore.
It's in your head though.
But I do remember vividly typing that out to him probably 2 or 3 years ago. Like, I'm not stopping until I get to the NFL, and then lo and behold, it worked. So there is something behind it, just speaking it into existence.
Yeah. But you do need the determination though behind it. You can't just say like, "Oh, I want to be a millionaire."
Yeah, you can't just like just say it. Like you do have to genuinely like buy in and put the work in.
Yeah, so
I don't the patience.
I will say I don't know how much that plays if determination versus like manifesting. I mean, I think you need one in the you need one of the one determination. Jeez, I'm stuttering over here. You need at least determination to go along with manifesting an idea. I think like the idea part obviously is crucial. Like you need to manifest the idea if you want to get something.
Oh yeah.
So, but an idea is really nothing without you going through and doing it.
Yeah.
You know,
it's all about the work.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's a good point though. It is a really cool story too when you think about just little shit that you wanted to hit on like as a goal or something as a kid.
The work works.
It does. Yeah, it does. But the Grand Prix. We want to talk about that. Yeah. It started actually. I guess the
it's
pit
a pretty
race,
long thing.
It's almost the whole end month of July, and it starts I guess at the pit crew race or pit track, which is up in Beaver. I never knew it existed up there. It's completely laid out, like it's brand new.
Yeah,
I guess it was a bunch of investors, a bunch of lawyers that all dumped money into this. I've never been to a racing event like this in my life. I've been to drag strip racing, dirt track racing. The amount of money that was up there, Josh, was insane. The guys that are racing cars up there don't go back home and work on the car or go back home and go work in an auto mechanic shop for the next week. Those guys are... Sorry, my phone just went off. Those dudes that are racing it's big time. It's big time.
Borderline FU money.
Yes. Oh, dude, a lot of it.
I know what you mean.
Like, a lot of it is, dude. And if you would have seen some of the cars that were on the track, you would have been blown away.
Yeah.
Me and my dad were astonished. There was Mach 1s that were racing. There were Shelby Cobras, original Shelbys that were racing.
Crazy.
And you think about that, that's a $100K car at least.
At least, yeah.
At least, depending on the quality of it. The one guy we were talking to, he had a Cobra Jet. I forget what it was. It was like I think it was 422 Cobra Jet or 427 Cobra Jet. I forget what it was. There's like one of maybe like 50 like originals. I have to look at the numbers, but me and my dad were talking to him. We were like, dude, you know like how crazy this car is? He's like, don't care.
Yeah,
it's like I'm still racing it. Still racing it. I'm like, yeah. Once you have that kind of scratch where you can't worry about cars that you're racing on the track, I think that's what I want to get to in life. That's a good goal. That's a good goal. I think that's a good goal for both of us.
I'm with you. I've never.
Fun.
Oh yeah.
Just to run.
The only thing, this actually brings up another point too. Well, actually before that, so the Vintage Grand Prix, I've always said I'm going to go to it, and I never have.
That was, dude. That was exactly me too, because my client John Ross, who's a member on the racing committee, I've been working with him for like the past 3 years, detailing his cars, and he's the guy with the crazy Porsches and cool Audis, just different Audis. Like he has the S6. That car is so cool. The green one. I think I sent you. Yeah. That's like one of my favorite cars. But he's been telling me for like past 3 years, like, you gotta go. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go. Never went.
Yeah.
And then this past year finally went and going on Saturday again. so they got me.
I hopefully will make an appearance Saturday as well. That actually takes us into our next one, Premier Auto and Collision. They're gonna have they're a shop down in Zealand, does custom. They do collision repair and then also custom automotive bodywork and everything. They will have like a little booth or exhibit, I guess, with McLaren 720S that they're finishing right now as we speak. And they'll also have, I believe it's a 69 Chevy Camaro that's completely custom built, but they didn't build it. It was another shop, and I'm blanking on the name of the shop that built it. Something with an M.
Is it around Pittsburgh?
No, I think it's like a national company.
Meekum Auctions?
Not Meekum
car?
Auctions. I forget. He told me what it is, but it's a very rare car. I don't want to speak and like say the lies, but I'm pretty sure he told me it was like $750,000. This Camaro.
Oh yeah,
like it's sweet. It's
was
like
it Nardo
gray kind of?
Oh, was it original?
All
was
custom
it
built.
Oh, it was
the
custom.
entire thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, dude, it could get expensive with you put into some of these older cars.
So they'll have that there, and then they'll have a BMW M8 competition that they just did a color change to this blue color that's like looks different depending on what angle you look at it, that they just finished as well. So those three will be down there. The guys will be down there. So I'd like to stop by and see that and get some content of it. So hopefully I can make an appearance. Yeah, Mike from Premier, Eddie, Brett, all the guys. So Donnie Details. I don't know if he'll be there or not, but
I follow him on Instagram.
Maybe.
His stuff's good. He's legit.
He's good.
Donnie's legit.
He's been doing it a while. I think he told me like 6 or 7 years, so he's got some years under his belt.
Yeah.
And he worked at Innovative too before they came over to this place. So
is Donnie still going back and forth to Innovative?
I think he's only at Premier now.
Really? Yeah.
I don't know what happened to Innovative, honestly. I don't know if it exists.
They still are, dude, because I saw they actually had a I don't know if it was a stand or a tent at Pit Race.
Okay, so they're still
at Pit
there.
Race, yeah.
Those guys kind of branched off, so I think there's like 2 different groups of them now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully we get to check it out.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of cool. The car community around Pittsburgh's pretty neat.
It's a lot bigger than you'd think with
it's huge.
The weather being crappy most of the year and the roads sucking. There's a lot of exotic cars and like cool cars here. So
there's a lot of expensive vehicles, especially up this way, dude. I mean,
yeah, up this way, but even down towards you and
South Hills, yeah, people have some nice vehicles.
There's a couple spots in like downtown, like Shady Side, Sewickley, that has some cars, but up here, yeah, there's a lot around anymore.
Yeah.
So it's always interesting to see like these crazy Lambos and stuff driving around, and you're like, if you hit a pothole, the thing's just gonna blow apart. I've hit some in the Jetta where I'm like, damn,
that's gonna cost a lot.
That's gonna be expensive.
Yeah.
Like if you hit that in one of those, hundreds of thousands, like $50,000 of damage, you blow out the front tire. Like
you better hope you're not sweating out cash that month, dude.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, to have those
guys aren't though.
It's an
crazy.
expense. Probably one of the most expensive hobbies, honestly, is having like cars.
Yeah, 100%.
That and boats. Boats might be worse. You lose money basically every time you take it off the dock. So.
Right. At least with a nice vehicle, you like, especially that, you can appreciate and value with a nicer vehicle.
Yeah, if you get like a really nice Ferrari or Lambo, I feel like you can
appreciate.
It's more of an investment than a Honda Civic or something.
Speaking of Ferrari, the guy on Saturday, I meant to mention this before, but the guy I know, John, he knows a friend that's bringing a $10 million Ferrari.
Damn.
It's like I think it's a year 63. I'm not too well versed in Ferraris.
Yeah. That's crazy.
$10 million.
10 mil. And I bet you it wasn't 10 million when you first got it.
Exactly.
In 63.
Could you? No, he purchased it.
Well,
he purchased it, but dude, could you imagine the scratch that you need to have just to buy a $10 million car?
Up.
Yeah, and then he said that he will be racing, I believe, like a $1 million car in the race. So he had like 2 or 3 other $1 million cars. And the vintage Grand, they do the race, like the track races, and you get into some tight turns, like you can hit into people pretty damn easily, especially if people on the track are being aggressive or something like that. I can only imagine. I've never been down to Shenley to see the race, but I can imagine it's not going to be too open.
No, I think it's pretty tight. A lot of hairpin turns. I haven't seen it either, but I'm pretty sure it's tight. It's a golf course.
In a $1 million car.
Yeah, with trees.
No thanks.
I remember seeing a video from last year actually of a Porsche like sliding into a tree in one of the corners, like a new one.
I would get
and
out
being totaled instantly.
I would get out and throw up.
Yeah, that'd be rough. But yeah, you definitely have to have some spare change to get into the car scene.
Right.
And like I said too, with boats, I think that's probably even worse.
Yeah, they're so much fun, but they're such a pain in the ass.
They're just a pain to take care of and maintain, and store, and everything.
That's why I never detailed them.
Boats. Yeah. Plus, I feel like it's a lot. Like they're big.
They're huge.
So
I mean, you
can
can make good money on it around Pittsburgh, but it's just like no one really wants to pay to have it really look crazy clean whenever it's gonna get dirty.
It's gonna get dirty instantly anyway. I would like to get some jet skis sometime.
Jet skis are a blast.
Fire.
Oh my god.
Or even one of those boats with the big speaker rack on the back.
Oh, like
a ski.
Yeah,
boat.
like it's.
And they can fill up the tank so it like sits down in the water different and like, makes the waves.
Sam Scoffer's dad got one.
Oh yeah.
That boat is gnarly.
They're expensive, but they're sweet.
Yes.
You get a brand new one.
Yes, he would take it to Shenango Lake, I believe.
Shenango Lake. How big is Shenango Lake?
It's deep. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get those boats, you need deep water.
Yeah.
Because like it sinks down and drives like, and then you could go. It doesn't really. You need it to be a decent size lake. You can't be on like a pond that's 100 feet deep.
You think like Britain would work or?
Yeah, we'll get the excavator down there and just
actually,
start digging.
I'm pretty sure someone showed me a picture one time of them doing like jets or a like water skiing behind like a speedboat one time
on Lake Britain.
Yeah, like the old president extended. I'm pretty sure because I had a class with the current president. It's playing Buzz in the House.
Oh my
Where
gosh.
is it?
That would be insane.
That's crazy. But
You remember being a little kid and like whenever you'd see a plane go by and you just look up and you'd be like, oh, there's a plane.
Yeah, that's always a cool thing. But
yeah, back to the
she
jet
told
ski
us
story.
a story, President Richardson, that one of the former presidents had the lake extended so he could jet ski or he could water ski in it.
That's such a flex, dude.
So it used to not be as big as it is, and it's bigger. It's long now so that they could get laps of it, which it is long enough that you could do that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You could jet ski in that.
Oh,
one of
easily.
those wake boats, you probably wouldn't have a good time, but
it might be a little bit hairy.
it's too shallow, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it's very deep.
It thins out rather
real quick.
Yeah, rather quick once you get towards the bank. You'd run out of track, but boats will be there's a good saying, boats are fun whenever your friend has one.
Exactly. When it's not your problem.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about putting pumps in. That's like the biggest thing. Like you turn it on, it's like, oh, pump's gone or something like that.
Yeah. Well, my grandpa had this boat that he did like fishing charters out of Lake Erie. And he
That's
also
cool.
did them. He had at one point he had two. One was in Erie and one was in South Carolina. And so eventually he sold the one in Erie and brought the one from South Carolina up to Erie. That's the one that he currently has, but we don't really use it anymore because it needs a lot of work and he's past the point of being able to maintain it. So it's dry dock somewhere. But twin like V8 engines, like 34-foot long, double decker. So it was like pretty decent sized boat for like Lake Erie. Like you could go park it out in the lake and like sleep on it for a few days and like be all right. It has like a fridge inside, like
that's cool.
Cooktop, like everything. And it was set up, the back was set up for fishing with like all the rod holders and like trolling and everything. But yeah, I mean, you gotta get gas for it and it's like $1,000. And that was back in like 2014, 2013.
Now it's probably like
$3. Yeah. Like, and so a lot of times I know those guys don't even fill the tanks up the whole way because, I mean, it's a big tank. It's like 250-gallon tank. But I mean, if you're gonna
be out
really use it, like when he was doing fishing charters, like if you were to drive 60 miles out and back, like
you better hope you have
burn
gas.
through the gas.
Yeah.
And you better hope you have two engines too, because the engines go out all the time.
Oh, dude.
And you don't want one engine on the boat.
Happened to me.
Yeah.
I got stuck on Lake Erie.
It's a very unfortunate situation.
Yep. We were stuck 2 miles out. We were on my uncle's boat at the time, and we were perch fishing of all things. We weren't going for walleye, which sucked, but we get out there, turns the engine off. We're just coasting along fishing. Goes to turn it back on after about an hour.
Nothing. That's the worst.
Me and my dad look at each other. We go, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!" And we're like a good 2 miles out. Next thing you know, wind starts picking up. Boat starts going into swells like this because it was about like a 17, 18 footer boat. It was not big. We're just I'm in the back. I look at my dad, and I went, "This is not good." Over the deck. I threw up. I threw up about after 20 minutes of going through there because ever since I got my concussion,
Yeah.
like whenever I was playing football, I get the worst motion sickness ever.
Yeah. It's the worst.
Yeah, and I could be on. I'm fine if I'm on like a boat on the river or like on a lake, but
Yeah.
as soon as
when
it
you
started to pick up,
going up and down like that, yeah.
it was
not
game.
good.
It was game over.
Yeah, Lake Erie too is like I think the shallowest one of the Great Lakes. So like when it starts to get windy, it gets choppy real quick, and there's some big waves.
Happened.
And yeah, that's the worst. Whenever you're broke down, you gotta figure out how to get back.
It made me nervous too, like that we were gonna start taking on water.
Yeah.
That's how choppy it was, and that's scary, dude. Like
2 miles out, you're kind of hope somebody comes and gets you. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're done otherwise.
dude. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I'm not a good swimmer, dude.
Yeah.
2 miles swimming.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted,
Yeah.
we would have life vests, but
Yeah,
I don't
the
think I
Coast Guard
could
is
swim
up there
2
too.
miles.
So like the Coast Guard makes rescues and stuff. I don't know if they
Yeah.
have a helicopter in Erie or not. I think they do have them in like Buffalo that they can come down. But so worst case scenario, I'm sure they bring out
You call in
helicopters to
one.
get people. But you need a radio to do that. So if it goes quick, you're not gonna get cell phone service like 3 miles out on the lake probably.
That'd be wild getting picked up by a helicopter, though.
It's at
would be
least some
kinda
peace
cool.
of mind like knowing that they're there.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I had a boat, I'd want to make sure there's probably 2 engines. I mean, if I'm doing like something that's like Lake Erie size or like the ocean, definitely 2 engines.
Yeah, we were hillbillying it that day.
If you're
It
on
was
like
not
Lake
smart.
Shenango, all right, you'll
You're good.
eventually hit the shore. Like, you know what I mean?
You could float.
You're on
somewhere.
like Deep Creek or something. I knocked my thing out. Oh, I'm back.
You back on?
I'm back.
Okay.
I just stopped kicking that.
Speaking of Deep Creek, I wanted to put that on there too. I don't think I did, but I don't know why this came into my thought.
Love Deep Creek.
It is really cool, but it's the concept of Deep Creek is so weird to me. It is very cool, but to go down there, you're essentially paying for like a whole week's vacation almost if you like want to rent out a house.
At
which
least,
is
I mean,
which
they're
is pretty
expensive down
exactly. It's probably even more.
Uh-huh.
And then think about it's the same exact weather as Pittsburgh down there.
Yeah,
like
it's just there's a lake.
Yeah.
Well, I get what you're saying there for sure, but I do enjoy the lake.
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
fun.
and
Don't
there's
get me
a lot
wrong.
of stuff to like see down there. Like it's very pretty. It feels like kind of, it feels like you're on a trip. Like you're away, and it's like peaceful, quiet. My friend Gary from Treesdale, he owns a cabin down there, and we've gone a few times.
That's nice. See, if you
It's
have a
nice.
friend that owns a cabin versus like
Well, it's still expensive, but
no doubt.
it's definitely like a little friends and family discount. But he makes good money off of that. It was a good investment for him, I think.
right.
I mean, it's a pretty large cabin. It's like 5 bedrooms. There's like 2 master bedrooms, 3-story. I mean, it's nice. Like
Yeah.
it's real nice. Hot tub on the deck. Like it's a good time. The downside to it is it's not on the lake. Which down there, I feel like you miss out a little bit if you're not on the lake, because then you can have a boat.
Yeah.
And like,
And then
or
you'd have
even
to
just a
drive.
dock
Right.
to like enjoy. But he's got the hot tub, and he's on a pretty nice golf course too, and it's like private community up there, so it's nice.
That makes
But
a difference.
it's very expensive.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I guess my thought on it is a really convenient lake because it's only like an hour or so away.
It's a quick drive.
For me and Bethel,
Yeah.
it's about an hour.
It's like, Pittsburgh growing up, if you dive into the history, people wanted like quick escapes.
Yes.
That's where like the birth of like Seven Springs, the Laurel Highlands, Johnstown, I think was like a big like retreat area before the flood. Deep Creek is newer, to my knowledge, is like a newer. It still
It
is
is.
around a while ago, but if you go to Deep Creek now, it's very like
new.
Everything's new.
My dad's like generation, like almost shits on the place because
Yeah.
that was never somewhere that people ideally wanted to go. Like I remember we threw out at our prom group that we wanted to go to Deep Creek for like after prom or something
Yeah.
like that. My dad's like, Deep Creek, what the hell's wrong with you guys?
Yeah.
Or something like that. And we're like, it's fun now, man. It's
Dude, like
cool.
I've had a good time. Honestly, I have a free trip right now I got to use sometime, so maybe we take
Ding,
a
ding.
trip, do a podcast, have a good time down
Invite
in the
Alex
cabin.
down. That
Alex
wouldn't be
is
far.
halfway
You wouldn't be
between.
far, yeah.
Yeah, we could get a couple people down there and play some golf, have a podcast, bonfire, take out the lake.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, so I see a question on here that
The Sound of Freedom movie.
No, would you
Which
rather
one?
would you rather go on 2 trips a year
That's a
at
good
a lake
point.
or a choice
thought
of
we were
a
good.
beach trip once a year?
Me, I'm a lake guy.
This would be tough.
It is very tough. Yeah. So, would you rather 2 lake trips or 1 beach trip? I guess it goes into how long are we saying we stay at the lake?
I'm gonna say, if it's 2 trips, I'm saying it's at least like 4 or 5 days each trip.
Yeah.
So like kind of like a week for each trip. We'll say.
Okay.
So either 1 week at the that's
No,
not fair.
we'll have to go like 3 or 4 days.
3 or 4 days at the lake twice a year.
Yes.
Or
a week at the beach.
at the beach.
Just America. Like
Yeah.
you could pick any American beach,
Yeah, just America.
or you could pick any American lake.
You can
Ooh.
pick any American lake, and you can pick any. Well, yeah. You can
Okay.
pick any American lake, any American beach.
Oh man, that's tough. I think I'm still going lake though. I'm more of a I like the idea of the wilderness type of atmosphere for myself, but it is very tempting with
The beach.
the beach. Going any beach trip, there's a lot of nice beaches in
Tons.
America.
On each coast, like all sorts of different ones. I think I would probably go lake too, though, knowing what I know now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the beach is awesome. I like the beach, but the lake's also very It's not super similar, but it can be. Like if you have a dock or you have a beach down at like Deep Creek or something. But what piques my interest is there's a lot of really cool lakes outside of like PA that you could go to that are
Oh hell yeah!
like Lake Tahoe or like
That tournament was awesome.
yeah. There's some cool stuff.
Yeah, and I think the activities that you can get into at a lake are a blast.
Yeah.
Versus at the beach, you're kind of, let's just veg out on the sand. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But
To each their own.
yeah, exactly.
There's more
I like to-
activities I think at the lake than
Right.
there is at the beach.
Right. And if you get a good group of people that you're rolling around with, or we got a little wind gust picking up here.
Storms are coming.
Oh boy, let's get rained on. But if you have like a good group of people that are into doing fun stuff, and I mean even like the girls, if you're not gonna stereotype I guess with girls, but like even if people want to stay in the house or want to go shopping, I mean like we said with Deep Creek, you can go and do that.
Yeah.
You know, like there's options for it. You can go drive and do that too. So I mean I don't know. I think lakes are
too
cool.
like for where we're located too, like lakes are closer. Like you could go to Deep Creek.
Right.
It's to like you said, like an hour or something
Right.
from your place. It's about 2 hours from here. And there's a ton of different lakes. Like there's Deep Creek. There's another place in, I forget what, like Cheat Lake in West Virginia.
Cheat Lake's a fun
Shenango Lake. There's
Yeah.
where we were at with Gaber that one time.
Treasure Lake.
Like,
Treasure Lake.
There's Lake Erie. Like there's so many different ones just around here, and like that's just PA.
You ever see Summersville Lake?
Where's that?
I want to.
I don't know if
I'm
I
trying.
have.
I forget where it is geographically, but they have like these really cool rock cliffs that you're not supposed to jump off of, but people can jump off of them.
Yeah.
And the water is like almost a neon blue. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
I don't know how it's so blue, but it's really like a cool, pretty lake.
Huh.
But yeah, I think we're going with the beach, or we're going with the lake trip there.
Yeah, that's what I would say. There's my private jet coming in.
PJ.
That's you got boat money, car money, private jet money, because that's like the most expensive by far. But
you can rent out shares of a PJ.
I think that's the move,
crazy.
honestly, though. Rather than unless you're doing like all sorts, like
Unless
if you're an
Mark
artist,
Cuban, yeah,
and you're traveling all the time, I think it probably makes more sense just to get like a share of a plane,
right,
instead of just going all in on one.
Right,
So they're so expensive.
Yeah, or you're just Mark Cuban rich.
Or
Just
you
buy
have
one.
that kind of money. Yeah.
Yeah. How about the Sound of Freedom movie? Did you hear about this?
I have heard about it.
Me and Lauren, me and my sister want to go.
Yeah.
We were talking about going tonight, but I told her, I was like, I got a podcast with my man Josh
We gotta
tonight.
get a potty in.
Yes. So I think we're pushing the Sound of Freedom movie back till tomorrow. But it's very interesting to see the actors and actresses that have taken a stance with it.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones and the people that have not put it on or have done it, and it brings up like a dilemma, I guess, with a lot of those guys, because you want the work, you want to do movies, you want to work with producers, but it seems to be like there's a lot of them that are doing some not so good things, and you have to think about, I guess, your future in a sense, but then you got to think about moral obligations, so it's tough. And then they have like that huge Hollywood strike going on too, which is interesting.
Yeah, at the same time, the writer's strike, and
exactly.
I think it's like basically everything at this point striking, in Hollywood at least. But yeah, taking it back to Sound of Freedom, I haven't followed along super well, but I have followed along, like, I've seen some weird stuff happening too, like with the showings where like they get canceled, or like
the movies aren't playing on.
Yeah, like for weird reasons, and it seems to only be happening to that movie. So it's like, why are they trying to like prevent people from seeing it? And then, like you said, with people that are just not at all endorsing it, and people that are, and then they're facing backlash. It's like, it's a very weird situation. And that kind of all goes back to like political correctness and stuff too, and like all the woke America and stuff that we've kind of had going on. Right. But it seems very interesting, and I want to see it. At first, I thought you could stream it, but then it's only in theaters right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I know my parents and I looked, because we had a neighbor actually that was like, hey, you need to see this movie. And this was like 3 weeks ago, before it really became mainstream. Then it was everywhere all of a sudden. But to my knowledge, you can only see it in theaters right now.
Did you hear about Mel Gibson? I think is making his own. Did Mel Gibson make The Sound of Freedom, or is he making his own movie entirely? Because he's like pushing it really hard, and all these people think like Mel Gibson's gonna get the, like,
he might,
which would be crazy, and like all of us would kind of know it at that point though. It's just like,
it would give it away.
The powers above are pulling some strings.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like it's very odd.
Yeah, we'll have to watch it and report back.
Yeah, give our movie review.
Next episode.
I like it. I'm gonna try to go and see it at some point soon.
Speaking of other movies too, though, Oppenheimer. Have you seen that one at all? The previews for it?
Oh my gosh, it looks incredible.
Looks really good.
With Matt Damon. I was watching, oddly enough, Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Being an old man, and they had a lot of previews for it, and it looks incredible.
Looks really good. That comes out tomorrow as well as Barbie. So lots of
It's
movies. It's like movies are back all of a sudden.
Yeah, which is odd too, because like the Hollywood writers are on strike.
Yeah, so maybe we'll run out of movies in like a year or so, because they'll be delayed a little bit. But
that's a good point.
Because I mean, a lot of these movies that are coming out now were like years ago filmed, or like a year or two ago filmed. So obviously they could always like take a stand and not put out new ones for a while to be like, we need to figure out a deal. But very interesting stuff going on in the movie world. Sound of Freedom, we'll have to...
You ever think about getting into movies?
Like filming them?
Yeah.
I have thought of... I think it would be interesting, because like some of my observations with like what I'm doing now is a lot of it's very like quick turnaround. A lot of what I do is honestly like event capturing versus like actually coming up with like a script and like really scripting something out. It's like a lot of like, it's already going to happen. You just need to film it and make it look cool. So...
Fair.
Some of my inner creativity thinks it would be cool, or my inner creative thinks it would be cool to do like an actual like movie. And actually one of my goals back like 2020 or 2021 was to make like a short film version of a movie about Pittsburgh, just like different stuff, like longer, like 10-15 minutes long, like a travel type video all about Pittsburgh, because there really isn't any yet
something
on YouTube.
Something different too, where
yeah,
like you get so much of the like, oh, this was where George Washington came, like that's all Pittsburgh really has, it seems like. So
yeah, a lot of it's related to that.
You could definitely get pretty interesting with that. That'd be
so
really
I
cool.
could see myself later on getting into that when I have more time and like get out of like some of the live event stuff, but I also like that too. So it's a thought for sure.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah,
I think you could, dude, too, because I mean you've done videos with Ryan that have been long form, and I mean even though that's still happening, you're still creating like, this scene's gonna look good, this is gonna chop up well with this and like flow well into that. So I mean, even still with like the longer form videos and that you do right now are pretty pretty
Thank
remarkable.
you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. A little compliment for you.
You've been playing guitar lately?
I have.
Yeah, you got back in. Well, you've kind of been into it for a while now.
Yeah, I have, dude, and I'm starting to get at the point where it's just like becoming a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And after like a day of like me doing something, like given this past like month, I try to like work out in the morning, go detail cars, then I come back home and I play the guitar. And it's weird. I don't know how to like explain it, but I'm not good by like any measure like compared to a lot of other players.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fun now to just like kind of be able to like play and sing like fun songs to go along with it.
Yeah.
And it gave me like a new found kind of appreciation for music more so.
Yeah.
Because then you really start to look at a guy play a guitar and you go, wow, that's like incredible. Versus like me just playing 4, 5, 7 different chords. Like this guy is unbelievable, because even for me, like listening to music like all day in the past, from like working on a car like all day or something like that, and then you listen to music so much. I'm gonna tighten this up.
Oh yeah.
And you really get bored of listening to music.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm like, live music's pretty badass. There's so much music out there that you haven't listened to yet.
Yeah.
And I'm
so
like,
much.
It's weird now. This past 2 years have been like an absolute junkie of just trying to find new music.
Yeah.
It's like constantly, I'm like, I need to listen to something new now.
No, that's cool. It's a good way to look at it, because you don't realize like the difficulty or like the amount of thought that goes into just like the single instrument of like the guitar for a song. Then you think about all the different aspects if it has more than one instrument, with like drums, bass, guitar, like vocalists, different beats and stuff going on in the background. Like, it's just crazy to think about. It's a lot more complex than just like playing something from Spotify.
Exactly. And then you like think it all comes together to make one clean song.
Mm-hmm. It's really talent when you think about it.
And dude, like, not good by any shape, measure, or form, but like I can only imagine once you get to a level of like playing in front of thousands of people and being like so good.
Yeah.
That like the feeling that I get from just playing it for fun
mm-hmm.
versus like playing it to like rock a crowd and like entertain is like, I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
Like, that would be unbelievable.
It's different, a whole different level of talent and everything.
Who have you been listening to recently? Any new music?
Honestly, I've been listening to more like country right now because it's summertime. Not like
country is
super
such
into
a summer vibe,
but it is a summer vibe. Like, if I have the windows down, country just hits. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Windows down, sun's out. It's like warm out. Listening to Morgan Wallen a little bit lately. Probably some others. I don't even know their names because I don't pay as much attention to the lyrics and like the artists. I just kind of like, I don't know. I listen to music and I'm like, huh. So a little bit of that. I actually just added some Jeezy, I think.
Some Jeezy. Some old school Jeezy.
From the Pirates, actually.
Is that a workout playlist?
No, it's just like in general, like my like songs. Yeah, I got Soul Survivor, Jeezy.
Oh my gosh.
All There, Jeezy, and Bankroll Fresh.
Oh my god, I have the best Soul Survivor story ever.
Really?
Yes.
What is it? Let's
All
hear
right.
it.
Shout out to Adam Trixilla, my old gym teacher. So, this dude, before like we would start any game in class, he would play Soul Survivor, and like we would have gym in our gym at Bethel Park. You would have thought it was the fucking World Series Game 7 after one Soul Survivor came on. It was like, if you're looking for me on a top, and everybody was like going in like this, just like ready to rock. And like we would take gym class because it would be a bunch of my friends, and we would just take it so seriously. But it was like the best pregame hype up song to a gym class ever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just stuck in my head. Soul Survivor.
No, that's
wasn't really a hilarious story, but it was.
No,
a story.
that's good. They so I believe one of the players used it for their walk-up song, and that's kind of like how I started hearing it more. So I was like, I'm gonna add this.
Oh yeah, which player was it? Was it Kutch? It wasn't Kutch, was it?
No, it's one of the pitchers, I think.
Really?
That's when I've heard some of it, and then they play it. I think it is one of the pitchers, actually. Holderman, I believe, they play Soul Survivor.
When he goes out to pitch?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Unless they just play it. I'm pretty sure that's him. I don't know.
I love,
what about you?
I love Baze. walk-up
Oh,
music.
Jihuan Bei.
And
He
they
has,
change it up.
I forget how it goes now.
It's like,
but
in the club, like, hey, baby. And
Yeah,
they play that, and I'm
Bei
like,
Bei.
that's pretty good.
Bei Bei
That's
Bei,
pretty
Bei
good.
Bei Bei. That one.
Then they have
there's
all
some
the
good
different
ones.
They have all the different Bay songs that they say Bay in,
Yeah.
which is cool. That's creative on their part.
Yeah, they got that. Kutch's, I
It's a-
forget his right now, too.
It's I think it's a Drake
Grease.
song.
No, DJ Khaled.
Yeah, that's Drake's song.
Yeah, Drake.
Grease.
Grease. That's
Coming
what
out
his
to
is.
me.
Yep.
Yeah, that
one.
song. Yeah.
And then Jack Sawinski is like a country song.
Uh-huh.
And so is Brian Reynolds right now. He's a Morgan Wallen song.
Really? His
then
was
G-Man Choi has this Korean song that's really good. It has like,
Korean
some
songs
beat.
are lit.
It gets going. It gets the boys going. Some of them though, like I appreciate the songs, but they're not the best like walk-up songs necessarily. Some of them they're like a little down. Like Connor Joe, his is just like I forget how it goes. It's very slow, and I'm just like we got to get the boys going.
Yeah,
like,
I'm kind of going to bed now.
Yeah, but what about you? What have you been listening to?
I've been on a really big Zach Bryan kick.
Oh yeah, I had somebody else tell me that the other day.
Really big.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew of his music, but I really wasn't extremely appreciative of it. And then I listened to his live music album. Dude, I'll send you it. It's
Fire.
oh yeah, it's awesome. He was at Red Rock in Colorado, out in Denver, and was performing, and they recorded the whole entire performance, and he
That's
just
awesome.
uploaded it on his up on Apple Music.
Huh.
And I'm like, that's cool. Like because you don't see that much anymore. Like
No.
no artists are doing that at all.
Uh-uh.
Is like recording their performances and uploading it, really.
Yeah.
But dude, he has a song on there. It's been like stuck in me and my sister's head for like the past 2 days. It's called Revival, and he plays 11 minutes. There's a guy in his band from Pittsburgh.
Really?
Plays the banjo.
Huh.
Shreds, dude.
Shreds the banjo.
Absolutely.
Straight out of Pittsburgh.
yeah,
like
yeah, exactly.
Allegheny County.
I'm curious to see what part of Pittsburgh he is from too. Like to play a banjo that good, you got to be from like.
I bet you it's just like he's from like Shady Side or something. Like,
that would be incredible.
Nowhere,
Let's get him on here.
Nowhere
dude.
interesting.
I think we shoot for him. Let's get him on our podcast.
Yeah, why not?
Let's get him to bring out the banjo.
So if you had to listen to some artist every day here, we got a country version here.
Mm-hmm.
Morgan Wallen, Zach Bryan, or Luke Combs. Every day, once a month, or never again.
Oh, see, I wrote this question down, and I was still thinking about it on the way up.
I think I got my answer.
I think it's in that order. I think it's Morgan Wallen every day, Zach Bryan once in a while, and Luke Combs never again.
That's what I would say.
It's tough between Luke Combs and Zach Bryan, though, because Luke's good.
They're all good. It's just, if I had to pick, I've been listening to a lot of Morgan Wallen lately.
Mm-hmm.
I see the hype now.
He's so catchy.
Yeah.
He's so catchy.
All of his songs.
I wasn't a huge fan of his second album until I started listening to it more. I was like, okay, this is really good.
Yeah, I agree.
The lyrics itself, they just like they flow and like they're catchy. You know, I don't know how to.
It's like he's talking to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's how I view it.
I couldn't imagine trying to make 36 different songs and like have it all come together.
Yeah.
And mean a song, and like the creation of a song is wild. Like think about rhyming, thinking about having a meaning, putting it behind like a tune, putting it behind a melody, and then I'm like,
it's crazy.
No
crazy
way.
talent.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's a lot of pressure too when you think about it. And then it's like you get to that point, now you got to keep making new songs.
Yeah.
Then it's like, and you can't
a lot of pressure on you. You can't be a one-hit wonder. You gotta.
Oh yeah, and you can't copy other people. So
yeah,
it's crazy.
Talent. What about a rap version?
Oh yeah, let's get a rap version.
Lil Baby or Future.
Damn. Drake every day. Drake's my goat. Drake's my rap goat.
I was gonna say Drake every day. I was probably gonna say Future second, once a month. Lil Baby.
He's
very good, but I don't have to listen to him.
I think I'm gonna go Lil Baby then.
Okay. Change it
X
up.
out Future. Future's so good, but
yeah.
I think I like Lil Baby has built up an insane amount of hype. I'm a big fan.
I hear that on the sideline all the time. I feel like
Lil Baby
at like all sorts of sporting events.
Yeah,
Lil Baby.
He gets me going in the gym. Do you listen to just rap music while you work out?
Yeah. I feel like, well, no, scratch that. Because sometimes there's this country music list. I got to see what it's called now. It's a country music like mix by somebody. It's called the Down Under Country Mix, Volume 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it's like relatively new. And I'll listen to that and it gets me. But like,
it's got a little
it's
bit of
either
scratch.
that or it's like some sort of rap or like a mix of some sort of like big booty mix. You heard of that before?
No. I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious to hear what
Two Friends is the DJs that make it. They've had like probably at least 16. They might have way more than that.
Is it
big
like
booties now? But
is it like is it a chop up? Like
yeah, it's like a chop up.
They mash songs together. Is it for your butt workout?
It's a lot of like current like pop. They mix everything actually, but I don't know. It's kind of like a funny college mix. It's big on like college campuses. They'll go perform at or DJ at, and but they call it the Big Booty Mix.
I didn't know
fire.
that.
I listen to that sometimes. And
this is news to me.
Some random stuff on SoundCloud. What about you?
Yeah, dude, I'm an all over the place type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
I go back to like COVID. I remember just exclusively listening to like Frank Ocean 24/7 for some reason.
Yeah.
And then from like that point on, because before that I was always listening to rap music, but since there was nothing else to do at home, like I was like I gotta listen to something different. So I listened to Frank Ocean, which is odd enough to like work out to. But then I listen to just about anything working out now. Whether it's I will say this, I like listening to R&B more than listening to just straight rap.
Yeah.
So a lot of Drake's like slower stuff I'll listen to. A lot of different like R&B, like Giveon or whatever his name is. I like him a lot. Mm-hmm. He's good. I don't know, stuff that's like a little bit more slow and like controlled. And then I'll have like days where I'll listen to like Metallica. So I'm all over the place. Like I'll listen to some like crazy shit too sometimes. Like if I really need to get going. Yeah. But if I have like a good energy, then it's usually R&B. But if I needed like a pick me up, because I don't do pre-workout or anything before I lift. Yeah. I don't like the way it makes me feel.
That's fair.
Do you?
I don't either. I don't take anything really. I just kind of go and I just do it to stay moving, not to like really hit any like major goals other than just like stay active.
Maintain, yeah.
And like it makes you feel good too.
Agreed.
Like, if you don't go for like a week, I'll feel like soft.
Yeah, no, 100%. If I don't work out for give or take like 2 days in a row, I feel like physically kind of sick, like or like a slob. I don't know how to explain it.
It does,
like I feel like
I'm
slower, you know, like I'm moving
like your mental, your physical, like it has a lot of positives.
Yeah. Yeah, it helps a lot.
Speaking of the gym though, you seen Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg?
That is
fight,
insane.
Potentially.
Zuckerberg's an animal. I don't know if you've seen him do jiu-jitsu practice.
He's like into it.
He is, but I guess Elon does jiu-jitsu as well.
Elon's a big dude too.
Elon's a lot bigger than people think. Mark is jacked now.
Yeah. I think it would be a really good, it'd probably be one of the most watched like fights of all time.
Could you imagine if Dana White somehow got that?
It'd be incredible, because there'd be so much positive out of it as far as like the money that would be if it was like a charity type event too. Like there was a tied in the charity thing, because neither one of them needs the money.
Dana's taking a cut though. Somehow.
Dana would take some money.
Yeah,
but like if they figured out a way to like donate a
like awesome.
couple $100 million or something, they're probably like. But yeah, I think it would be blockbuster.
Oh my gosh!
I don't know what I would bet personally on Zuckerberg just because I think he has it.
I think I would go the Zuck too. I think he's almost a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
I think he just has a lot more experience in it.
He does.
He's very strong, I think.
Yeah, he was doing tournaments. I will say this. I think Elon has the size on him. Mm-hmm. But as far as if Elon like really trained, that's the thing. I think he's too focused on so much more versus like Zuck is just Facebook. I mean, I guess Zuck has a lot going on too, but
yeah, Elon definitely has like crazy amount going on.
Yeah, Elon like loves to work like 15-hour days.
SpaceX and Tesla and Meta and Twitter now and all that. Which, speaking of Twitter, actually, have you seen Threads? I saw Instagram version of Twitter.
Yeah, I saw it. I don't know what it is, but I saw that they were.
It's basically like Twitter, but it's like really easy to set up because it imports your Instagram right into it because it's Instagram basically, and your profile and your following and your bio and all that stuff and the pictures, and Yeah, so it basically is made to be like a direct competitor. But Twitter kind of like, and they must have been sitting on it for a while, but they turned on monetization for their tweets now.
Really?
So if you're basically they're paying out people like their share of the revenue that's generated from the ads. So I saw people that were getting payouts of like 8 to like 30 or 40K for 1 month of this.
Whoa.
Which is crazy. So you think about the amount of impressions you can get on Twitter and stuff, like say you're like, I don't mean like a Pat McAfee could make a ton of money off of just the Twitter monetization plus YouTube monetization. Obviously he's going to ESPN now, so it's different, but
right. So Twitter's shelling out the money, or
so basically
is it
like
Threads?
YouTube for all this time has paid creators for ads.
Right.
That's how people have made money. Like once you get into like the 1 million subscriber range, you don't even need that much. You have 100,000 subscribers, you could make like a decent chunk of cash, like 30, 40,000 plus, maybe even 6 figures, even with only under 100,000 subscribers. Basically, they're taking that model and putting it into Twitter. So that encourages people to use Twitter for just tweets and also like media and stuff, because then the more interactions and stuff you get, the more you get paid. So like the more followers you have, the more people that view your tweets, you get a chunk of that ad revenue each month.
Wow.
So that's the one thing that Instagram doesn't have.
They're not monetizing on Instagram.
They did a thing called Instagram Reels bonus for a little bit, where when they were really trying to get people to use Instagram Reels, if you were having some of the top ones and they were getting views, they would give you like a bonus of like a couple $100 a month. But they don't do monetization yet. I feel like they're going to have to now because Twitter does and YouTube does,
right?
And TikTok does. So they have to, because they want people to post on their platform. People are going to stop if they don't get paid.
What about the influencers that are doing like ads like James? So would that just occur from the company just paying
basically
to do
those
the ad?
Are different. So like that would be like Invisalign, hey, we'll pay you $13,000 to film this video for us.
Okay.
And then we'll post it as an advertisement basically. So
right.
Yeah, that's different.
Makes sense.
But
you would just get money from the impressions that get from your tweet.
Yeah, so it's basically like
you go out and tweet like, "Hey, my name's Josh" or something like that.
And he gets like 50,000 likes, then they're like, "Okay,
here's $10,000."
Here's $10,000.
Whoa.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's
now,
nuts.
obviously not everybody's going to get $10,000. You have to have like a pretty big audience and like a lot of impressions, but they're paying pretty good.
I haven't been on Twitter.
We definitely have some storms incoming, so I feel like we got about
a wrapping
probably
up,
like 10 more minutes, and then
I like
that.
But we so we're going with Zuck. I don't know that because if you give Elon, if you
He's the sleeper.
If you gave Elon if you gave Elon 6 months of training, is it a closer fight for you?
I think so, because you got to look at his work ethic. Like,
oh my gosh,
anything he does, he does 100%. So
I think if you give him,
he's not going to half-ass it.
I think if you give him 6 months, it's going to be a pretty damn good fight.
Be cool to see. I personally feel like it won't happen, but you never know. Elon's pretty crazy. Mark must be too.
Once you get to that point too, it's like you have all the money in the world.
Yeah,
it's just fight for.
Why not?
Fight for who's the best.
I guess that's the only way you can prove yourself. I mean, they're literally fighting with their businesses now too, with like Twitter versus, Twitter or Facebook versus Twitter.
Twitter, yeah.
So
let's just duke it out in a ring.
Let's just duke it out. Why not?
Whoever wins has to quit their business. Has to
sell
their
the
business.
other one.
That would be wild.
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome.
What are your thoughts on tough times building strong friendships? Camaraderie.
Yeah. I mean, just simply put it, yeah, I guess. I mean,
this is an interesting topic, and
even me and you, think about me and you. I mean, we became like really good friends your senior year, my junior year.
My mom's home.
Nice. I miss Vion. But me and you became like really good friends your senior year. Yeah. My junior year. And arguably, like that's a pretty interesting time in your life. Yeah. I mean, throughout like the course of like this year even too, it's been even closer. Yeah. I don't know if it's like really it's not difficult times, but it's exciting times. But it's also different times too. So yeah, 100%. It's like the you become like a stronger team through going through
Suffering
like the
together,
challenges.
basically, or like going through the challenges.
Right.
I kind of just viewed it as I just sat around. I saw this pop up on Twitter one day, and I just sat around and thought about it for a little bit. But like, you think of like us growing up in school, and like obviously, not saying that we hated school or anything, but like it was like, oh, we have to be here. Like, that was kind of the thing. Like growing up in elementary school, oh, school's canceled. Yeah, let's go. So like you kind of were like in a way suffering together. And I feel like that's a way that you kind of would bond so easily, like in school, because everybody had to be there. Everybody was dealing with the same thing. So it was easy to like bond. So that's why I think one reason school is a very like easy area to like make friends, because everybody has similar circumstances. Another one that's obviously, is like war. You know, if you're going and fighting, like the people that you're in your battalion and everything are like the people you're going to be suffering with, and like you're in the same boat together, so you're going to be naturally become really close together. Sports teams are another one. You all have to go to practice, you all got to go do strength training, you're literally like live together your whole time during that. So I think it's like friendship, if you really take a look at it, is built off of like hardship and like suffering together.
Yeah. I mean, you brought up a good point. Like those older, like the guys that were at the storming Normandy.
Yeah.
Like the dude that you're looking over to, like your right. It's that whole boat ride. You're like, you're my guy.
Yeah.
Like you're my guy.
Uh-huh.
Like you better, like I have your back, you have mine. I couldn't even imagine that. Like at that stage in your life, that is like, your heart is like boom, boom, like together.
Big time.
Like it has to be, dude.
Yeah.
It has to be. I mean, and sports teams, like you said, like I remember basketball, like we would do the craziest workouts. Like even at Westminster, it's like everybody would be throwing up, but you would laugh about it for hours on end afterwards. And you can't put like a night at the bar to that.
No.
You can't. You can't. I mean, you can. And I think that's what happens with a lot of people is like you go out and look for things like that at places like a bar or a club or somewhere where that hardship isn't really occurring, and I think those friendships aren't as valuable.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you just take a grand look at it, like every scenario kind of points back to like you relate to like the funny things or like the stories that happen, which often are like not necessarily good things sometimes, but like just the funny things that happen, and that's like what brought everybody together. Even like this most recent trip with for the Mr. Beast video, like it wasn't it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows the whole time. Like there were some times where it wasn't looking good and there was a lot of stress on everybody, but like that was what brought everybody together, was like rallying to figure out things and to like do it, get through it. So it was like, that's a good scenario there. So it's just an interesting topic, and I think that's like a foundation for a lot of people. Like when they're looking to like make friends and stuff, you have to be in some sort of like team environment or like go through stuff. You don't have to, I guess, but it helps a lot.
It definitely helps. I think it's a good building block for your friendship. It's like that's a good foundation.
Or like just building something. Like we're building this podcast. We're building our businesses.
Yeah.
Like you can relate a lot more whenever you're doing something like that.
Right. Yeah, you have something to talk about mutually too, versus like, hey, we met, I don't know, at a Steeler game or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But you have a deeper connection once you go through deeper, more meaningful experiences too.
Yeah.
You brought up a good point too. Like the experiences that you do talk about, like have fun with, there's like the hardest things that you go through in your life. And like I could think back of like so many that were in the moment were the absolute worst.
Where you're just looking like at your friends and you're like, man, this sucks.
Yeah.
And like that's whenever you guys like you're friends now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Like
it's crazy.
Me and Brandon, we had on earlier, like I almost had a brother at this point. And there's like a vivid memory of me and him both. We were probably like 14 years old and we had to fix our neighbor's wall. I don't know if I told you about this one. The absolute worst thing I've done in my whole entire life. But dude, since that moment, like best friend to this day.
Yeah.
Like you guys can go back and forth and just do things.
Mhm.
And that's like how it is, dude. Like you have to go through something. Like if you want somebody that you like, is gonna have your back, you got to go through some shit together.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly.
That's what I'm thinking on it.
That's what I look at it as. So interesting thing to think about. I think this is a good place to
Wrap it up. I like it.
It was a good episode.
Before we start getting rained on, these clouds are moving.
It's definitely getting a little ominous out here. So hopefully we got some good guests lined up here for the next couple episodes.
We do.
We've had a good time so far, so we appreciate you guys listening. And stay tuned. Lots of heat dropping soon.
Stay tuned, baby. Appreciate you guys. Peace.
Peace.